I asked 10 young adults, ages 22 through 27, a very compelling question. If you could wave a magic wand and have one of your problems disappear, what would you use it on? And to say the least, the majority might surprise you. In the early stages of adulthood, many of us find ourselves in a constant search for happiness. Your early 20s to your mid-30s are oftentimes called the time of potential and freedom. However, the reality for most of us is this time is full of heavy expectations and obstacles that we might not be ready for. Happiness becomes an endless pursuit, filled of mental, physical, financial, and emotional battles. Each of these elements play a crucial role for why most young adults feel like it's almost impossible to attain happiness, and why they feel like it's so difficult to truly be happy. Today, I simply want to dive deeper and show you what I found. Welcome back to High Standard University. My name is Quincy Yoder, aka Q to Go, your soon to be favorite smart dumb guy. My mission here is simple, guys. I simply want to help you guys improve mentally, physically, financially, and emotionally while I bring you on my journey myself. So if that's up your alley, make sure you bust out your nose, grace some water, and let's talk about why a lot of us, and I mean a lot of us, are just simply not happy. First things first, I found that financial burdens are at the core for why most young adults feel like they cannot be fulfilled. It didn't matter whether I asked men or women, whether I asked people in their early 20s or their mid-20s. The fact of the matter is, most of us feel unhappy and lost because of the situations that our finances put us in. And I will be fair, some of it is because most people in their 20s feel like money will solve more problems than it actually does. But most of it is because most young adults are going through financial struggles. We've all seen the stats on how the cost of living is skyrocketing and wage growth is either staying the same or growing just slightly. We've all seen how people making $75,000 a year, which is decent money, still cannot afford a home in certain areas. And it's not because they're not managing their money properly. It's not because they don't want to. It's just simply because shit costs us an arm and a leg now. Then when you bring up things like student loans, car loans, credit card debt, and kids, it makes it feel almost impossible to get financially ahead sometimes. I can say this from experience. Being broke affects your self-esteem. It often makes us feel like we're failing, even if we're putting our best foot forward. And that insecurity from financial stress can bleed over to other aspects of life. It's because we see financial stability as a requirement for other life goals, whether it's buying a house, traveling, or just settling down with a family. Without that sense of financial security, we feel like true happiness is postponed all the damn time. We feel like we're never excelling. We feel like we only just have enough. Then we turn to emotional trauma, which is voted number 2 in my experiment. I found that our past relationships, whether it's with friends or with partners, dictate our present happiness just as much as our present relationships. Let me explain. It's like fair relationships, especially the ones in our early years, can shape our emotional outlook. And it leaves us nothing but a sense of doubt and fear that affects our connection with other people in the future. Relationships that end poorly, whether it's due to betrayal, neglected feelings or needs, or just simply drifting apart, will plant seeds of hatred and resentment, which, speaking from experience, are difficult as fuck to shake off. And it's fucked up because during this time, a lot of young adults are still trying to figure out who they are, what they want to be, and how to simply communicate complex things like love. Some of us come from broken homes where we never really saw real love, or we never got taught what real love is and how to catch it. So just imagine trying to figure out who you are and trying to navigate the real world while dealing with a breakup at the same time. That's why during your early years, those breakups hit especially fucking hard, leading to mistrust and self-blame that become difficult to resolve. We lose confidence and we stop opening up to new partners. There's always that lingering fear that pain from a fair relationship will return, making it difficult for us to give ourselves fully to a new romantic partner. This trauma makes our mind constantly replay memories of disappointment, and each new person that we meet, whether they deserve it or not, is seen through the lens of old hurt. And when we're trying to be happy while being in this light, it not only can seem impossible, but it seems dangerous. Because if joy might end in pain again, why pursue it? This is why most of us shy away from connecting with others, and why most of us, whether we like to admit it or not, are truly lonely inside. Man, the dream of having someone who supports, understands, and uplifts. It's like it's not just about companionship, it's about stability. Someone to lean on during life's most difficult moments. A peaceful outlet when the whole world seems to be either struggling or competing. The dream of being with someone that accepts your strengths and your weaknesses, that's gonna be there for you during your hard times and your great times, can feel like a cure to everything. Which is why if you have a person in your life that meets this criteria, you don't just let them go. A lot of people undersell this, but I can personally say during my biggest achievements, my support system did nothing but radiate joy and encouragement. And during my lowest points, my support system Whether they were the same people or not, radiated nothing but toxicity and stress. With us dealing with all the financial and emotional stress we deal with, finding that partner seems to be out of reach, which is why it was the third most voted problem in my study. I feel like it's because many of us feel like we need to fix ourselves before we get into the right relationship. And yes, I will admit this creates a healthy cycle of improvement, but this also makes us feel like we're undeserving of happiness and love in the present tense, as if love and happiness is only something for our future self and is not deserving of our present self. The happiness found in a meaningful relationship feels distant because it's overshadowed by the pressures of being financially stable, healing from emotional trauma, and somehow at the same time trying to improve to become your best self. Just let me know if you've been through this cycle before that I'm finna describe, because truly it might just be me. You're going through your self-improvement journey. You start making more money than you ever had in your life. Your body starts looking great, and you become wiser and more aware than you ever been before. You then start to attract more worthy candidates until you find that one that you want to take seriously. You start to get deep into your feelings with this person, and then you realize all that damn improving I did, and I still don't know how to love properly or be a good partner. And it's all because that whole time you were improving, you ran from it. You ran from love. You ran from the thought of intimacy. Later, that partner ends up leaving you because you didn't know how to love right. And now you're back in that space of, I gotta improve myself and I gotta leave men and women alone, blase, blase. You're doing the same thing you did beforehand. I personally been through a lot in my life to know that these roadblocks aren't bullshit. I've been broke as fuck, which sent me through the deepest depression I ever been through in my life. I've dealt with emotional trauma from past women that made me feel angry inside. I've also craved a peaceful partner to the point where I looked around, I seen all these candidates and none of them were worthy, and I thought to myself, what is the point? In the end, these complex layers contribute to why most young adults feel like they are unhappy and unfulfilled. There's no easy solution. All these things with time and intention can be fixed. You can fix your financial situation. You can fix your emotional trauma. You can improve your emotional awareness to the point where you're ready for a loving relationship. But as I learned throughout the years, maybe the first step is redefining what happiness actually is. Happiness does not need to be postponed for an imaginary future where everything is perfect. It can be found in the process of healing, growing, and even struggling. The key might be in learning to find contentment in yourself. Embrace those small moments of joy. Understand that happiness in its true form is not necessarily the absence of problems. It's the presence of resilience, connection, and hope despite those problems. And when we finally learn to accept those imperfections and find joy in the small everyday victories, we might actually start to find happiness, not as a destination, but as something we carry in the midst of life's toughest challenges. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. I appreciate everybody sticking with me today. And if you're going through something and you find it hard to find true happiness, don't be afraid to contact me. We're a team. We're a university. We're all here to get better. Let's do it together.